Created by the slightly insane genius Acelia the Great, slime girls are various oozes given humanoid form and their own sentience. After enough time, they became much like other adventurers, though their appearance can be odd by comparison. Still, they're eager to see the world and meet new people. Because of their nature, slime girls tend towards chaotic alignments, but some have found lawful ideals to be comforting in a strange world. Greetings, brave adventurers! My name is FoxyBard, and today I'm bringing you another Pathfinder 1st Edition character build. This time, it's going to be the Slime Girl Samurai, Kaya Wigglebosom. I feel like the last name explains itself. So, we're going to start with, who is Kaya? Kaya is a neutral good sapphire slime girl. Those are the kind of slime girls that can detach a part of their body and throw it to an ally to protect them. It's an ability inherited from sapphire oozes, the type that they are based on. Slime girls are medium, so she's medium. Her gender is in fact girl. She is pretty young, considering that most slime girls were fairly recently created. She weighs 37 pounds because I actually did the math on this one. I looked at what the weight on very large size slimes is, and then I figured out how much that is per cubic inch, looked up the average number of cubic inches in a person, and it turns out that slime girls are really, really light per cubic inch. Yeah, her hair is blue like the rest of her eyes are purple, and as I said earlier, she was born in a strange laboratory. And last, she has decided to worship the deity Shellin, the goddess of love and many other things. Why will become more apparent as we dig in to exactly what kind of samurai she is. Pulling up the configuration page, we get some useful, important information out of the way. She is a samurai, but specifically she is a sword saint samurai, which is an archetype that replaces the mount that most samurai usually get, with instead a very special sword attack called the Yaijutsu Strike. That's that thing you sometimes see in samurai movies or cartoons where they attack with the sword from the scabbard in a super fast motion that is surprising and devastating, and then the person falls over. You are already dead. That kind of thing. Anyway, we've got the first level stuff for samurai in there. Their hit die is a d10, babble 1, fort 2, all the usual stuff. Because she's not very smart, we'll get to that, she does not get a lot of skills. I've also plugged in the Slime Girl ability modifiers, and I've already changed the melee ability to dexterity because, spoiler, she's gonna be a dexterity samurai, which means weapon finesse is in our future. I also chose to hide a lot of the skills because they were just gonna make these screenshots impossible to read, so it's a little easier on y'all. So, let's take a look at the build at first level. This is the stat array for her: strength of 10, dex of 18, con of 14, intelligence of 7, she's not very bright, wisdom of 8, and charisma of 16. Which means that, yes, she is going to be a dexterity-based samurai. Now, typically samurais are strength-based, but I wanted to build a dex-based samurai, and that sounds really fun to me. Her AC at first level is fine. It's helped a lot by the fact that she has a very high dex, and sadly, she does not get very many skills. So we're just going to go with Perform Sing, which is actually eventually crucial to the type of samurai she is. We'll get to that. And Intimidate, because there are actually some good in-combat applications for Intimidate. Plus, you know, big scary slime, well, small scary slime, just scary deadly slime girl trying to... That actually just sounds cute. Whatever, Kaya, you're adorable. Oh, slime girls also get blind sense, which is very fun, and she can only speak the two languages that slime girls get, which is Common and Slime Speak. That's the proprietary language that only slimes speak. It's also a secret language, so your average person can't learn it except under specific circumstances, or if someone teaches it to you. So here we get to where choices are being made. The first and most obvious one is weapon finesse, which allows us to, if we have either a light one-handed weapon or a weapon with the finesse trait, to use our dexterity instead of strength for making melee attack rolls. This also somewhat determines the kind of weapon we're going to use. Now normally you'd expect a samurai to have a katana, but not this time. Kaya is going to use a wakizashi, which is a much smaller, lighter sword, and it is a light weapon, which means we can use it with weapon finesse. Katanas are not finesse weapons. You can only use strength with those bad boys. The other big decision we need to make at first level is which samurai order we will belong to. You can also use cavalier orders if any of those strike your fancy more, but I found one that was just perfect for her, and that is the Order of the Songbird. Samurai of the Order of the Songbird are artists, scholars, and poets. They treat battle as a beautiful art form. Many of these samurai seek pacifistic means of defeating their foes. Even samurai of this order who kill their opponents do so with respect, considering such a fight to be an act of poetic tragedy. Which means that basically, Kaya likes to sing a lot and hates to kill you, but will if she has to. When we use our Samurai Challenge as a member of this order, we get a dodge bonus to AC and a sacred bonus on saving throws, only against the target of our challenge, which is typically how the challenges work. You must also only be wearing light or no armor and not using a shield. Luckily for most things of this nature, bucklers don't count, which is why she can still use a buckler. It's not a true shield. This is a loophole that just about every person who's played Pathfinder 1st Edition more than once takes way too much advantage of. Which brings us to various other equipment. I went with studded leather and a buckler, because both of these, after being made masterwork, result in 0 total armor check penalty, which is important for us. She also does need a longbow, just a regular one, because having a variety of ways to attack things is good, and sometimes you just can't get into melee. And I didn't fiddle around with all the, minutiae of various adventuring gear. There's 35 gold left over, that'll cover all of it, bedroll, etc., etc. Cater that to the needs of your specific party and campaign. This is just the core items. Okay, I decided to stop this build at level 6, so that's what we have here. We've upgraded a lot of our items and a lot of our gear. Now, all of this is using standard rules as written wealth by level, so if your campaign varies, obviously your mileage is gonna vary. And wealth by level for 6th level PCs is 16,000 gold pieces. So I've actually done a pretty good job at using almost all of that. First thing up, obviously, weapon, most important. So we have just a regular old +2 wakizashi. We want this thing to be our biggest, most expensive item on the sheet because it does the most for us. Each +1 is an additional to hit and an additional damage, so it's exactly what we're looking for. Next up, we've swapped out that studded leather for a mithril chain shirt. Why mithril? Because it allows us to get 0 armor check penalty and even more available dexterity to our AC. If you use light armor, mithril chain shirt is almost always your end goal for it. It's also light, which matters, because our strength isn't super huge. We still have the same longbow. We can upgrade that eventually if we care. We don't use it much. And then the buckler is just masterwork for now, because we ran out of gold and our AC is fine. The second big purchase was the +2 Belt of Incredible Dexterity, which gives us a +2 enhancement bonus to Dexterity, which, as our core stat, is very important, because each point of Dexterity is going to be to hit and to damage. But here's the important part. If we go over to Feats, at the 3rd level, we take Weapon Focus in the Wakizashi, giving us a further +1 to hit. At 5th level, we take Slashing Grace, which allows us to get Dexterity to damage rolls, specifically with the Wakizashi. And then at 6th level, from the bonus Samurai feat, we take Weapon Specialization, because our Samurai levels count as fighter levels. This just gives us a flat +2 bonus to all damage rolls with the Wakizashi. We're a little bit of a one-trick pony, but we're very good at that one trick. Now if we scroll down, we see exactly why we wanted Perform Sing to be very high. Because starting at 2nd level, Order of the Songbird Samurai get Bard's Versatile Performance, which allows them to choose one performance skill and use it for skill checks of 2 other abilities that are determined by which perform it is. In this case, Sing gives us both Bluff and Sense Motive that we do not have to invest anything into and are still pretty darn good at. On that note, back on the main page, you can now see a lot more correct and filled out attack rolls. Don't worry about the damage numbers on the Iaijutsu Strike. That's just Roll20 not displaying things the way that it really should when you use complex formulas to... yeah. Here's what those formulas look. This is the full text on that part, if you want to know for sure. But as you can see, our AC is not incredible, but that's okay. This type of samurai operates on the assumption, if I kill it first, it can't hurt me back. And, you know, it tends to work out for her. We also see that her Perform Sing is plus 12, which means that her Bluff and Sense Motive are also plus 12. I love Versatile Performance, it's such a cool ability. She also ends up with a big chunk of hit points, which I personally like. Not dying is good, actually. I realize I'm breaking new ground with that one. Now, her will save is a little bit low, but it was always going to be. Samurai are already pretty low on will, and she isn't the most wise in the world, so just hope she doesn't have to roll against Dominate Person and you'll be fine. Alright, so here's the juicy part. I did some sample rolls, and I waited until I got the most juicy possible one. And that was a critical with the Iaijutsu Strike. And, that's a lot of damage! Not listed here because there isn't a way to do it on the Roll20 sheet. There is an additional +3 to confirm the critical with this type of samurai. So that's actually a 33 to hit and a 32 to confirm. So it is almost definitely a confirm, which means that someone has taken 53 damage to the face. Big fan of that. Which is why I wanted to use a Wakizashi. A Wakizashi, stats-wise, is identical to a rapier, but it's a light weapon instead of one-handed. But the important part is, it has the same crit range, which is an 18 to 20, which means that Kaya is going to be critting a lot. I know that Pack Tactics released a video trying to say that all crit fishing builds are bad, but that's only specific to 5th edition, my good kobold. This is Pathfinder, where you can make crit builds absolutely absurd. So trust me, they're very worth it. But that will do it for Miss Wigglebosom here. I loved making this character, and I loved coming up with the concept for her. I am absolutely going to at least put her as an NPC in something. I just love this character. It's so cool. I've never built a dexterity-based samurai, so this was a lot of fun to put together. I was originally trying to go for some, like, 2-weapon fighting, other sort of nonsense stuff, and it just wasn't really possible without sacrificing all of my other stats. There isn't really an effective way to go 2-weapon fighting dex to damage without being an unchained rogue, and that's sort of what put the stop to that, because I needed stats in things that weren't strength, so I couldn't do that. I was sad, but this is still really good. If you want to see the full character sheet, patrons do get access to the Roll20 game that I built the character in, and you can view everything there. So if you want to see Kaya Wigglebosom in all of her glory, become a patron over on patreon.com/FoxyBard. Anyway, don't forget to like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and if you want to see more builds like this, ring the bell notification icon so you can be notified when I upload a new video. You can also join the FoxyBard Discord server, link for that is in the description below, and you can follow me on Twitter at ThatFoxyBard. Which brings us to the part of the video where I thank all of my patrons over on patreon.com/FoxyBard. Critical Kunik, Amma Anthro, Phantom, Jowser, Fractal Dawn, Makeshift Razor, ooh, you're new, hi, welcome, Purple Star, Rykus, Stephen Reyes, Sylvia, Cintaria, Tegan Longtail, Thunder Leopard, Tiny Tiefling, Zero Fang 881, and Zorolo. Thank you all so much for supporting me. It helps me keep doing what I do, and apparently you like it, so works for both of us. If you'd like to join that list, head on over to patreon.com/FoxyBard, and you can sign up for as little as $3. And that will do it for FoxyBard today. I have to go off and build a bunch more characters as NPCs for a game I'm running, so wish me luck with that. In the meantime, though, let's douse the fire and get back to our own adventures.